Today, I got a very, very special interview, exclusive interview. I have the director for the 6-part anthology series, Urban Luxury. He is the founder of Burning Ash Productions. He's also the co-director of Timestamp, which you can buy and rent on Prime Video. He's also the co-host of First Cut. He is Robert Butler III, but over here, we call him RB3.
Yo,
how you doing, man?
What's good, man? Thank you, man. Thanks for having me on. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man. No, I just want to make sure I give you the good intro and stuff. Could definitely. I just love what the project that you're making here, and I just want to have time to to talk to you so we can able to share it to the people.
Yeah, thanks, brother. Hey, man, thank you for giving me the platform. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad to be talking across country all the way to DC right now. You know, shout out to the DMV. Shout out to y'all on the east side, man. So thank you for having me.
When I saw your trailer for this new anthology series, again, it's also Indiegogo crowdfunding. We got 4 days in time of this recording, 4 days until the Indiegogo is over. But I just want to give you opportunity to share, like, what is Urban Luxury?
Yeah, Urban Luxury, man. It's a 6-part anthology series, like you mentioned, that deals with the commodification of the culture, particularly Black cultural representation. And that's a big topic for me because I used to work at one of those high-end, kind of like luxury e-commerce companies kind of situations. And, keeping it 100, I was the only brother working there. I was the only Black person working there, by the time I eventually got laid off, of course. But in the last few months, I was the only brother working there, but they would try to sell to like these younger multicultural user bases, really based off of basically hip hop culture to, or marketing off of that. So, and that company, they had the executives that broke down 6 different categories that were most popular with that younger multicultural demographic. Those 6 categories were comics and collectibles, trading cards, fashion, sneakers, music collaborations, exclusive vinyls or anything with a rapper, any kind of music collaboration, and then lastly, fine art. So those are the 6 categories. So each of the episode of the anthology series is kind of a commentary, kind of a riff off of each of those categories. So the first episode, Urban Space Cowboy, it's about a Black comic book writer. He's dealing with writer's block. He's kind of in his own head about how he writes. Should he write about race as much as he writes about, all these kind of things? And one of his characters actually comes to life and kind of, motivates him, encourages him to do better and to help him overcome his writer's block. The second episode, PSA 10, is about a guy. He goes to this mall. This guy's immunocompromised. So he ends up going to a mall during peak COVID pandemic and basically, goes in full masked up, covered up, risking his life for a basketball card, like a one of a kind basketball card. So each episode deals with a different genre. Like I said, first episode, comics. Second episode, the trading card aspect of it. The third episode deals with the fashion angle. The fourth episode deals with the sneaker angle. So this is just all thing through my working at my last job, how much it motivated people to just buy without even thinking about it.
Right.
And then it also just, it's the fact that they riff all of this stuff off of hip hop culture, streetwear culture, a culture where I come from because, I'm from Compton, California, born and raised. I still live in Compton. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just a little bit different for me having lived those experiences and worked those experiences, knowing what I know, basically.
There was a question that came up that I think I really want to dive into about the distinction between what is Black culture and what is the culture, right? Because again, I hosted film festivals, done interviews. Again, we also talk about Black representation matters, but what is being represented is also equally, if not more important, than what in terms of just checking off a box. Right. Especially when you come to perspective of capitalism as well, that we have what's the difference of racism and capitalism. Are they the same? Are they different? What's the nuance of that conversation? But I just wanted to ask, what was your distinction of between Black culture and the culture?
That's a great question, man. I feel like that's one of the questions that I pose throughout this anthology series throughout. For me, I always think of Black culture. When I think of Black culture, I think of our history, right? Our legacy, where we came from and where we've been. And when I think of that stuff, I always think of like food. I think of, not just hip hop per se, but think about old school R&B music, blues music, the foundations of what is all of American music, if I'm being honest, the rock and roll and stuff like that. So I think of food, I think of music, I think of our family, like our ancestry, the way we talk to our parents and grandparents is let's keep it real, you know what I'm saying? And this is just something that's just real from my experience, but it's also explored in this anthology series, the way that black parents talk to us versus the way white parents talk to their kids, you know what I'm saying? So things like that I think are the cornerstones of Black culture. And then when we think of the culture, I personally say that's what's being sold, right? Like that's the hip hop, really inspired by hip hop, and basically like what branches out from, like, I feel like hip hop in particular is like the start of it. And that being said, I'm not saying that the culture is a bad thing. I think without the culture, we wouldn't have hip hop. We wouldn't have amazing fashion designers. There wouldn't be great streetwear designers like Virgil Abloh, or there wouldn't be great fashion designers like Anwar Karis, who does all these amazing streetwear stuff. There wouldn't be amazing designers like that without the culture. So it's not saying the culture is necessarily a bad thing, but I think it becomes a bad thing when, they only make like 100 pair of Jordans and, half the city of Chicago ends up like fighting each other over them. You know what I'm saying? Or I think it becomes a bad thing when they, people base their whole personalities, their whole, some guy from the Midwest, from, Tennessee or Kentucky, wears a bunch of like streetwear and wears the backwards caps and starts talking blacks. And like, I think there's a level to it that's acceptable, and there's a level to it that's like, nah, you kind of being culturally inappropriate right now. So that's kind of, I feel like the difference, I
love the fact that, in terms of you as you building out your careers as a director, again, is that I also have some other friends of mine who are also independent directors as well. And one thing I just see this level of not just terms of dedication, but just terms of vision that you have in terms of bringing nuance to conversation of our culture. As a director, what is in terms of your, I guess to round off this interview, not only just supporting, independent filmmakers, but in terms of your vision of how you want to have your films bring out conversations we have in our community, but also in our culture in order to change it and make it better.
Yo, man. Oh, that's another amazing question, man. Hey, man, you get into the heart of what we try to hear with Urban Luxury, man. I think for me as a Black director, as somebody from the culture that I'm from, and somebody who this project represents what it represents, I think it's very important to highlight, well, for one, the tone of this whole anthology series is very satirical, very horror, thriller, but also a lot of levels of comedy involved in all 6 of these episodes. And, I think for us as Black people, we are so subjected to a lot of like Black trauma, a lot of our movies are either Black trauma or like BET kind of like throwaway, which nothing wrong with either of those genres. I love me a good watch of Precious or Boys in the Hood every now and then. The same like watching the Miss Pat show or Papa's House or anything, you know what I'm saying? But there isn't a lot of room for Black artistic filmmaking in the creative sphere right now, especially in Hollywood. And that's why, honestly, that's why I'm trying to crowdfund to make this money to shoot these projects independently, because studios aren't really backing Black art the way that they used to. So, we've seen it all across the board. We saw Mark Bernardin earlier this year do it, Kickstarter. We saw Cheyenne, from the comic shop. She did a Kickstarter.
Yes, I was about to mention that. Yes. Yeah,
so it's all, every Black creatives really just got to get on their own and do it themselves. And that's what we're trying to do here with Urban Luxury. And not just keeping it Black in front of the camera and also from a directorial standpoint, but also getting in Black crew members. Shout out my man Matt Allen Smith, who's going to be our cinematographer for this project, Jolene Lewis, who's going to be our production designer, Sid Hiera, who is our producer. And we have a lot of amazing Black and brown multicultural crew in front of the camera and behind the camera. So these kind of representation and telling the stories from our perspective, our truth, then this is, it's important, I feel like.
Yeah, and I just also want to make it clear again that much as I want to push these projects, also being funded by us as well is even more important too. You
Mm,
know, put your mouth, put your dollar where your mouth is. You know, in terms of actually going into protecting us and being about the culture, then actually put it into fruition. But again, I just want to say thank you for your time. You know, giving me opportunities to speak with you.
yeah.
Again, is there also can you share where people can help find your Indiegogo, where they can donate and also support and follow you on social platforms?
Yes, sir. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Director RB3, and you can follow the Indiegogo campaign at Urban Luxury Series on Instagram. And tap in on Indiegogo. We're in the last few days of our campaign. You know, there's not a lot of time left, but we can still, I still feel like we could do it. We literally just, as we were on this call right now, we just hit the goal to make episode 1. Episode 1 is Urban Space Cowboy. Like I said, the comic book one. That our budget for that was $5,000, and we literally just hit that. So it's good. All the money now that we raised to this point is going to go towards PSA 10. Reason why PSA 10 is a little bit more expensive is because it's set inside of a mall. So the mall that we're going to be renting from is in the South Bay area, real close to me. They're actually giving us a pretty significant discount on it, but that doesn't mean it's still not expensive. So we need all the help we can get. And yeah, you know, thank you, Jedi Mike. Thank you, Michael. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you having me on your platform to even shed a light on it. And to anybody at home watching, $5. $5 is all we need. $5 is all we need, man.
I just also want to say that, hey, you know, in the future, even not just this project, but projects to come, please, you got me as a brother. I'll also make sure you use my platform as a ecosystem. Again, I help promote you. Again, because this definitely, I'm seeing the vision, man, and I'm also seeing the work you're putting behind it. So I just want to commend you, man, and giving you your props on that.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate that greatly. And I apologize before we got on, but I gotta apologize on camera too. I came in late to this interview. I really am sorry. It has slipped my mind. I should have put in my calendar. I didn't.
But it's okay. You listen. We black. We're on BC time, Black Central Time. It's okay. No, you're fine, man. You're good. You're good. You're fine. You're absolutely fine. You know, we get our business. We got it done. We got it.
You know, Mike's a real one because he still let us. You know, he still let me speak my piece while even being late. So, man, this is a real dude right here. Thank you, man, for having me, dog.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for your time. Again, guys, this is another interview on Jedi Mike 7 on Sowell Media. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, comment down below. Also support and follow RB3 on all social platforms. All descriptions and everything will be in the description box below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.